Welcome to The Vault with Financial. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money and no topics are off limits. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Vault Day.
I thought you were going to say Happy Valentine's
Day. I was going to go, what month are we in?
Definitely isn't, don't you worry.
I feel like we're all fresh from holidays.
Yes, if you've not noticed already, Lucy's got a glorious tan.
It's not real though, is it? Is it real?
Yeah. I've not got an ounce of fake tan
Have
on.
you not? Oh, wow.
She did a scrub before she went, and you did a few weeks before, so your body, I remember there was a bit of warm weather a few weeks ago, and she was like, I'm going to get my skin summer ready.
You were a factor 50 girly though, like 30. No. Are you not? I just thought you would be.
No, I'm not really a high factor.
Why?
I just do like short, sharp bursts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do it wrong because they're like, do you know how it's like, you sit out of the sun like 12 till 4? Mm-hmm. I just do short, sharp bursts during that window.
4. You do interval suntanning.
Yeah.
You're like, it's like 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off.
I did burn a little bit this time because I fell asleep on the beach, but it was fine.
Holly could never.
When people say, "Oh, I'd love a little I love a little snooze on holiday." Our friend sent us a picture of her on holiday. She's literally in a bikini and a little girl's asleep next to her, and she's just like,
"Yeah, that's me."
And I was
Some
like,
bed.
"How have you fallen asleep?"
Like falling across my face.
I can't bear the thought of someone seeing me sleep, like a stranger seeing me sleep.
Oh, I literally don't care.
That's the bigger thing for Holly. It's not actually. Well, one, she would struggle.
It's the comfort. I want a duvet.
Yeah.
An eye mask, earplugs,
on the beach,
and a comfy mattress.
Doesn't ask for much. So like Love Island when they sleep outside.
That's
and
true.
You get like a duvet.
Yeah. I probably could do that.
You'd have a great sleep on Love Island, but they're doing it at night time and you'd be like, 1 p.m. nap.
But it's like rogue naps. Like Neil could just, if we went on a plane, Carl's the worst for this. Literally, it's taking off. Carl's like,
no.
Yeah.
He's like,
he's asleep the minute he sits down.
As people are still getting the bags out. And he's just an aisle person, so then you have to try and get past him and he's fast asleep. No shame.
Yeah. I'm
My
an aisle
dad
person.
fell asleep on the beach on holiday and he woke up and there was literally a beach wedding like right next to him.
They would do, as if they didn't wake him up and shove him out of the way and go,
I would have to
sorry,
wake
this is
him
not
up.
what we paid for.
I'd be like, excuse me, there's a wedding going on.
In the photos.
That's the thing with beach weddings. You don't own the beach unless you maybe pay a lot of money to have some sort of private cove beach. Like if you're on a public beach, you've got to deal with like Derek in his little Speedos. There's nothing you can do about it.
No.
How did we get onto Derek and his Speedos? No, you've been on holiday. Where have you been?
I've been to Catalonia.
Stunning.
Where have you been?
I've been to Corfu. We're Greece girlies this year. I've never been to Greece before, and Lucy has sold Greece to me, and now I'm addicted and I just want to go back and kind of discover more islands. That was really fun. Where have you been?
Abu Dhabi for a weekend. So stretched out the long weekend.
What's it like flying quite far for like a long weekend?
I think it's fine. I think we felt like we got a really, really good deal. And we didn't have the kids, so we did an overnight flight. And you felt like Sunday was wasted because Sunday was when we travelled back and we left. But we left the hotel at 11, so we got up early and had breakfast quickly and went by a pool and chilled until literally 10:30 when we'd packed the night before.
That's the thing, when you don't have kids, you can squeeze
so much way you can squeeze in.
and only when you don't when you've had kids do you realise how much time, like you waste so much time faffing and sorting and dealing with.
Because one thing can derail. Yeah, like we couldn't find my because Carl had packed and we couldn't find my watch because he'd packed. I was like, did you put my watch in? And it was just my sports watch, like not a super expensive one. And he couldn't remember. And so we had to empty the whole case. And it was 10 to 11 and we were being picked up at 11. Still calm as a button. Just like,
it's fine.
No problem.
Whereas you've had the kids who'd be like, get off the balcony. Yeah. Stop running water. Like, stop pushing your brother.
Chaos. So no, it was amazing. But our big trip award of the day goes to Lydia. Where have you been?
Oh, I went to the Philippines.
She just thought she'd outdo us all, didn't she?
Honest, I mean, so you went to meet other people there, didn't you?
Yeah, my friends were traveling in Asia and they were like, come to the Philippines.
Come to the good bit.
And you went, all right then.
Yeah. I've been calling it travelling. I went travelling.
2 weeks. Did you have a backpack or?
I had a backpack. We stayed in a nice villa, but I still called it backpacking. I'm literally
It's
wearing a
not
backpack, so it's backpack.
If you're wearing a backpack and you're going to
travelling.
Asia, in my world, you went travelling. You roughed it
And
in a beautiful villa.
how was your bunny while you were away?
Oh, he was fine. He had a nice time at my friend's house.
He had his own little bunny holiday.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Well, we're all well travelled, but we're all well back and
We are.
ready to answer any dilemmas and have any wider chats that you've got. We're getting loads at the moment. We still want people to send them, don't we? Like we've got sometimes we do some of the shorter ones on socials and stuff. We will make sure that everyone gets an answer, and especially if you put it into the community, you're definitely going to get people's feedback. Had some really, really interesting ones and different ones, and some same old. Like even if you think your dilemma is a little boring or feels like a stupid question, you don't not know who else is hoping that stupid question gets asked. So no judgment. Make sure you send them into the vault@financial.com, and Lucy will decide which ones come on here, but everyone gets answered.
Definitely. Okay, I'm going to start with today's controversial opinion. Life events have gone too far.
What do you mean, life events?
I think we need to call out the gender reveals.
Oh God. Oh God.
Don't need to go
Hold
on.
on, guys. We're talking about gender reveals again. Holly's
Everything,
getting ready.
no matter what happens, we're having a party for it in our gardens. And like people need a new dress. And it's going to be
Yeah.
blasted across social media. What do we think?
Yeah.
And it's like the dress thing's interesting. I feel like we're going back to the mid to late 2000s when Facebook and MySpace was a thing. Instagram not a thing. Like it was a picture app, but it wasn't as social as it is now at all. There wasn't stories. God, there weren't stories for years. But where you do the Facebook dump, and I think the mid to late 2000s for us millennials and older will remember that that's when suddenly you were conscious of a dress for an occasion and being photographed in it, and then needing another one and another one. Like it was very rare that you would rewear, and that was brand new. I mean, Primark was just coming out. Like other than that, it was like your top shops, and it was quite. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't expensive, but it also wasn't cheap. So you were paying quite a lot for your outfits because it was about the pictures. And I feel like it went through the fast fashion cycle, and I do think it's calmed down a little bit more with sustainability, and people do loads of capsule stuff. But I am seeing this coming back. So the hauls I see that people do and influencers do to try on outfits for the dress to the races or the dress to the hen do. You need a dress for every night now. Like it used to be like you'd wear one white
dress.
one white dress, which years gone by you didn't. But now, I mean, I saw Grace Beverley getting ready for her hen do, which just looked iconic. And like we have to remember her life and businesses are rooted in product.
Yeah.
And it was basically
A campaign.
an amazing campaign. And so like they did did you see they did a sports day?
Yeah.
So like musical chairs and they're all on tennis and they're all dressed up in like the Tower stuff. But she had been planning the outfits for weeks, and it's multiple outfits. And so every outfit would need jewelry, and every outfit will need a hairstyle, and what shoes you do. And the bags, like I know she's quite a big fan of rented bags, but that's the example of if everyone sees that's a multimillionaire business owner that owns product. What are we all going to do?
Like Sharon going to Benidorm's trying to do the same thing.
She is.
There's no need. Like we're all living this like I just get so frustrated because I'm not like that at all. I feel like I used to be, so I'm giving a bit of like empathy with people because I think it's a certain place in time. Once you've got kids and once you've got running a business and this that, and the other, it can be like
you've been the main character.
Choosing, I've done it. So we did it for our Hindu. We've talked about it on the pod before. So
what about Lucy? If that were to happen to you and you have had news in your family, a new recent engagement.
Mm-hmm.
do you want to tell the world?
My brother proposed to his girlfriend.
In Corfu?
Yeah, in Corfu.
We're very, very congratulations. They probably don't even listen to the pod, but
They will now.
It's our family, so we'll say congratulations. But if that were you, or now there's a bride to be, all she sees if she's on her socials, especially a time when everyone's documenting everything, the pressure to be like this life event is like you're a celebrity, but you're just an everyday person.
Yeah.
You're Sharon.
yeah, you need a reality check sometimes, I think. And like it's not getting plastered over social media and that you don't need to kind of perform.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing.
What would the outfits be if there was no social media?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like that whole thing that you say, people wouldn't do Pilates.
Pilates
Yeah,
would
informal.
not make, no one would do Pilates
people
apart from the
drink
hardcore
matcha?
few.
Me and Lucy still would. We've been drinking it for years. Can we just say? None of this.
Yeah, but you only tried it
Blank
because it was pretty. It looked pretty.
I can't remember where I tried it. But as in, like, now it's a thing. You see every girl's walking down the street, like, they don't even like it. You can tell. Like, the people that just don't like it, they're doing it for the aesthetic. Like, they want to go in blank street and come out with it, and then they're taking the picture with the nails. And I'm exhausted. I don't know about you, and I don't even comply with these things, and I'm exhausted consuming it. So
Yeah.
imagine the person that's got to keep up the pretense all the time. I've seen a few gender reveals are still going strong, like how people have still got the energy to put coloured confetti in a cannon or bake a cake and then cut it open and it's blue and is it pink? Like, our parents didn't even have scans. Like, they just didn't have a clue.
No.
I love seeing all the ones from like Texas and everything. And it's like, my name's Helena. I'm your baby daddy. I think you're going to be a boy.
Oh my God. But how did
So
they do
good.
the reveal?
It's just like really underwhelming. Like there's a whole crowd of like a massive family and it's like, woo. And it's a girl and the dad's like,
Yeah. They never want a
People
girl,
must
do
be
they?
so fed up going to them. If someone
know.
asked me to go to theirs, I'm not coming. Like, it's
No,
an
she's
ick.
not. She
just
would
send me a
say.
pic.
She would
What
say,
it
"I'm
is.
not coming."
No, I think, but I think you're right. Life events have become all too much. Especially, I feel I have a lot of empathy for our community that are going on a money journey, and they may be seeing friends that are living out this, or we talk about hen do's quite a lot, and I know we've just mentioned it, but the pressure to go to someone's 40th birthday weekend to London, and we're going to do a show, and we're basically just talking about the trip that we've just been on, but we planned it, so that's okay. But it's when the main character is just like upping the game all the time.
I've got a few friends and it's like every single birthday it's like, so my birthday plans this year are a dinner here. And I'm like, I couldn't even imagine doing that for myself.
Yeah.
Like,
You think a lot of yourself, don't you?
I know I'd just be like, oh my God, I don't want to go.
We're going for pizza. We're going to the local Italian. Like, we never do any. And it's not to say you shouldn't enjoy birthday. Life is so short. If you want to go and celebrate every year, but the pressure to bring people along with you and spend money when they don't have it, we're obviously on the other side of the coin because we see all these dilemmas that are written in by our community saying, I feel like I want to say no, but I don't know how to.
My nightmare would be like late 20s, mid to late 20s girls trip.
Yeah.
Girls trip my age now. We'd all be swapping each other's outfits. We want to look nice and you'd want to take some nice pictures, but it's like one picture then kind of like, you're done and you're cracking on.
It's not for the pictures.
It's not for the pictures, it's for each other and like,
memories.
I do like that idea that imagine if there were no cameras. One, some people would feel a hell of a lot more comfortable because people don't feel comfortable in getting, like, because we can't all Alex Early, like we don't all look like that. And so, oh my God, I saw such a funny TikTok of this girl who was on a sun lounger. She was eating some Ruffles crisps.
Yeah. Ruffles.
And she had sunglasses on the edge of her nose and she had a hat, but it was on top of her head because she had a bun in, and you can't properly get a hat on, and so you undo the back and it's like a flat cap really. And she said, I don't know how people look so good on holiday because this is me, belly out.
Yeah.
Boobs
Chris
out.
stuck in your rolls.
She's like, she said, this is my bliss life. The idea that someone took a picture of me right now, and she's on camera, which is the irony. But yeah,
I was listening to a Nip Tuck podcast.
Yeah.
It does make me howl. It's so funny. They were talking about on holiday and what you wear, and like, so there's an amazing resort store in, I think it's Knutsford or Wilmslow, I can't remember, called Rumpus Resorts. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like swimwear and they've been going for years. It's like an OG where it's not swimwear, it's caftans, it's cover-ups, it's cords, it's
it's
handbags,
wedges.
but
wedges
they're all
with
like
bikinis.
your cheapest bikini in there is 80 quid, and that they would see that as like bargain basement, up to like 400 quid for a bikini or whatever. And the girls were talking about wearing jewellery like by the beach, and she was like, you just get a really nice black costume and you just layer it with like gold jewellery, and all I could think was like,
Burning
can you
you.
imagine sat in Tenerife eating Cheetos with your kids trying to drink Diet Coke, and then you're literally like, oh wait a minute, your necklace is on fire, like you burnt
But I would
yourself.
have such a tan line.
or it goes green. Like, I was like, it's
Yeah.
just not
I was
practical.
literally snorkeling in a t-shirt, like
Were you living your Winnie the Pooh
coming up
life?
sputtering. Like,
Should we go play mermaids?
Yeah. Yeah. Life events have gone. You've blown them, lads. You've absolutely blown them.
Yeah,
Time
but
to
like,
rein it in.
it's like it's okay for it not to be so intense and to not get carried away with it. And like I saw another TikTok. I was on holiday, so it was on my holiday once. So
like-
coming out, I had no kids and a great Wi-Fi, and I was in the shade. But these Americans had gone to Europe. So these 4 girls were in Mallorca, and they were by the pool. And one of their friends had a Pinterest board of candid shots that she was like, so this is what we're taking. And she was like, look at what my friend is doing. Like, it's not our birthday. It's not a big trip. But this is just every day. So she's got a list of shots.
I'm pointing at Lucy because this sounds...
I was like, the effort. But that's how you get the pictures.
I always laugh at
Not
people
the
in our
crisps.
group that want to do like the pictures. But then our friend the other day was like, made this amazing reel. We'd been camping with the kids and it was so wholesome and lovely. And she was like,
always Suze.
you're so glad, you all chastised me at the time for another picture, another video. And she went, but aren't you grateful because these memories, like, and it was just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen.
Suzanne and Sarah carry our group.
Yeah, they do.
They carry our group
Yeah.
for photos. Sometimes a tripod pops out, not going to lie, but the pictures that you get,
Yeah.
if it were up to me and Holly,
They wouldn't exist. They wouldn't exist.
it wouldn't exist if you were all. And the only really nice picture that people have commented on from my trip to Abu Dhabi was I did a pyramid of Peroni cans when the sun was going down, and it was beautiful, and they kept blowing over, and everyone was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, that's the only thing I offered. I was in this 5-star hotel with my beautiful husband, but it was the Peroni tower that I represented my trip.
viral.
So I went on a rant then. How long are we in? Sorry, guys. Is this still the welcome? Oh, no, we're past the welcome. We've done well. This is actually a controversial opinion. Oh, you do you. But now want to go on holiday again, which we are. So we'll share that on the next one.
Okay, time for our first dilemma. I got a pay rise and now I want a new car. Help. Hi girls. I'm currently trying to get better with my money habits. At the start of this year, I got a new job with a large pay rise. I only have to go into the office 1 day a week at the moment, but I've been told that from September, this will increase to 3 days a week. That means my fuel costs will triple. I own my car outright and it's held its value really well. So I'm thinking about selling this car, putting some of that money into my emergency fund, which currently only has £250 in it, and using the rest as a deposit for a new car. Is this a bad idea or not? My thinking is, if I get an electric car, I'll save money on the fuel and road tax, as my current car has really high tax. But is this just the lifestyle creep?
Yes. 100% lifestyle creep. And everyone always reverts to when they get a pay rise, I'm going to get an electric car, as if it's like some holy grail of my life will be sorted, I will save the planet, I will be like a better human for having an electric car. And that might be right on some levels from a sustainability point of view, but you've said it yourself, like, and you know by writing this dilemma, and we always say, you said the words lifestyle creep, you're already thinking that. If I got a big pay rise and my emergency fund was £200, I'd be thinking about building that up. So I'd keep everything the same. You own your car outright, so the only cost that you've got is a sinking fund for your tax and your fuel, which you can manage monthly, it sounds like, even though it's going to triple in September. But it's time to grow your emergency fund. Like, and if you've got a big pay rise, you should be getting a nice healthy excess at the end of the month, and that emergency fund will build up quite quickly. And would you not rather go on holiday and travel and invest than buy another car?
She's getting the feels. She's getting
I
the
get
giddy feels, but you have to let them go. We can convince ourselves of anything. So the electric reference is I picture most things like this, by the way, because of my background as a lawyer, for and against arguments. Like, it's, you probably from philosophy and religion years ago. So there's, all the essays we've ever done through it, like, think of it like this, right? And there are always arguments for and against most things, and especially when they're quite sensible decisions. We're not talking about anything serious here. We're talking about a purchase. So you can always stack it whichever way you want it. It's like flipping a coin. Do you want to flip a coin, or do you want to, do you know what you want to do? And so the electric thing is something that yes, it's great to be electric. Yeah, it's great to be sustainable. They're really expensive. So if you can't afford to buy an electric car in cash, you can't afford one. Whether you decide to finance it or not, you are still deciding to spend that amount of money, whether it's in credit or whether it's in cash. And so, lots of things are very sustainable, a lot more sustainable than some things we do, but you have to have the money to fund it. It's not an excuse to overspend. Definitely getting excited about the pay rise. Definitely but you're spending it before you've got it.
Yeah.
She's getting it. She got the pay rise immediately, I think, hasn't she? I know she's got a commute from September, or maybe it's from September.
Yeah, commuting from September.
But pay rise maybe from now, we'll see. But, like Holly said, we always advocate playbook. So that emergency fund of 250 quid, terrifying. Pick what your amount is and go for it, and use that excess in the new pay rise. You don't have money for extra things with your nice pay rise. You're behind. We really
that's like a bit of a. I'm good. I've got a pay rise. No, you're behind. You need to catch up.
It's this big sister moment where we're like, well done, but because, and this is a real message for everyone. This is a pivotal moment because most people will spend.
Cash.
They will. Most people will go into, I can extend my lifestyle. I've deserved this. I should treat myself. And that's completely normal. The weird thing to do is to have the discipline to go, great, I've now, let's say the pay rise means net, she's going to get an extra 300 quid. Say her excess is already 200. She's now got 500 excess. And she's behind on the emergency fund. So stacking up the cash to get that to a minimum of 1 month's expenses, making sure that there's no other debt in her life, and then building an even bigger emergency fund. Whilst, to your point, Holly, we need a maintenance fund, we need insurance, we need car tax, and she's obviously factoring extra fuel in her budget. There can be more new, nice cars in your future. This isn't a no, it's a not right now. And I think if you can let that pass, that surge
feeling,
of dopamine,
that scratching the itch.
Come down.
I think the
side.
fact that she owns it outright is more frustrating for me because I'm like, you don't. How lucky you are. So many people are paying off a finance car and they're chained to these monthly payments, and then you're arguably, it doesn't sound like you can't buy it out. I can't imagine you can buy the new car outright. That's not what she's saying.
No, she's going to use a deposit
and to put some in the emergency fund. But yeah, she's kind of be going backwards.
You're chaining yourself to monthly payments. You are free. Right now, you are, unless you've got any other consumer debt, which amazing that you've got a pay rise that can go towards it in the emergency fund. But you are free. Oh my God, people will be shouting at the TV now. Our community that are stuck. Trying to pay, please don't do it.
Don't do it. And I wish you were there. Did you see the dilemma in the community or the story that a member shared about her friend had got a brand new car and she said she'd gone round, and in my head I was like, she'd gone round to see it. Do you want to come round and see my new car? Do you want to see my new baby?
Bows on it.
Do you want to come see my new car?
Another life event.
Party.
Do you want to see my new car?
Right.
Car reveal.
On that, how many people have bought a Fiat Punto and the fucking garage has put a black curtain over it and they're like, are you ready to see your new car? Vroom. It's cannons. It's what is going on?
I can't. If a car now, maybe 20 years ago, if a car now has a sheet over it, it's because they've overcharged you.
Yeah, they're thank you. Of
course, they're going to make a big deal. Of course, they've got a bow in the corner. It's not for you. They put the bow on everyone.
I was trying to say.
Bobby's getting a new.
He's getting it next. Can you imagine my dad going in and them doing it to
me?
He'd be like, can you not? Yeah. Can you not?
Yeah. It's as if it's an achievement, but they're going to share in the achievement because they've sold the car to you.
Yeah, they get the commission. The girl's buzzing that's putting that bow on because she sold you the car.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say now. I was.
She was inviting her around.
Oh yes,
to the car.
I was well on the pitch, and then I was picturing Vauxhall in Bolton, going surprise, new car. So some of the community said that she went around to her friend's house and she's got a brand new car and she was like, oh, it's really nice. And her friend made a joke. Her friend said back to her, when are you getting rid of your banger? And I chatted about this a little bit talking about, there's one level of banter in the UK, which is you can take the mickey out of stuff a little bit. Like there's something that's more natural or normal for us to do.
Everyone takes the mick out of my husband's car. We've talked about it so many times. All of our friends are driving
They
like
bought it
Range
off Roger,
Rovers,
the
like
retired man on the corner.
like Land Rover Discoveries. Like everyone's got a new Audi. Like everyone's got a new car. They've either got a company car that's really nice because they have to be with the jobs that they've got, or they like cars and they've got enough money to be able to do so.
Yeah.
Great. Neil's car is like was it like $7,000 or something? It's like a Mercedes. Like they call it a taxi, and it's so funny. It's like jovial, and he's like, could not give a shit. He's like, I'd rather go on holiday 4 times a year than
and
have
do the
a
extra
car.
investing that you're able to do.
So you're allowed that banter. That goes down quite well. It's funny.
Like I said, you allowed it and I think I think it's about how confident you are with you, and sometimes that's a journey because, firstly, and I said there's 2 ways to handle this. One, there's straight back, which is but can you really afford it? Which maybe not for all friends.
Maybe say it in your head.
but just think about that. Be mindful of if they've got a brand new car and they're showing it off and they're so uber proud of it. I mean, careful not to judge, because actually if you've worked fucking hard for a car all your life and it's your thing, then fine. But this girl's been brave enough to dish out the banger comment. So, but let them be them and let them do them, because you're on your journey, and embrace the banger. Give it a name. In fact, if it's 9 years old, it's a lot younger than my car. My car's 12 years old, and literally I'm going to run it into the ground. I keep taking it to our lovely friend's garage and they just keep maintaining it for me. I've got my maintenance fund, and I'm very, very blessed that I've got it, and it never enters my head when I'm getting a new car. Whereas when you're in the car finance routine and it's not because of a company car, it's not through work, and actually it's a big amount of your budget, that amount's going up every single year. And so for our original dilemma writer who talked about thinking of doing it, like Holly said, we don't want you to go backwards, because I promise you will, because of the way you are now, you'll want to go back. You'll hate that finance payment. You'll hate the fact that at the end of it, you don't own that car unless you find the money for a balloon payment. So then you're going to have to do another one and another one. And then if you'd like a mortgage, and then if you'd like to invest extra, and then if you'd like to go on holiday more, your budget is squeezed with a huge chunky finance payment. And that's what we're dragging you back from, and going, no. Like, have the moment, have the feels. And if you'd like to plan for an upgrading car at some point, cash is king. So make sure you do your emergency funds, make sure you build up cash. And it is possible to get a nice electric car. You're just not ready for it yet because you can't buy it cash.
Yeah, that big excess payment that she's going to get every month, I hope so, it sounds like a big pay rise, can go so far. But by taking it all with a car payment, it's spent and it's done. Whereas if you can stagger it, so like you can do your emergency fund first, once that's done, it's done. It's not it's done. There. You move on. So then that excess cash builds back up again. You go, okay, what do I want to do now? Like, you can do so much with it if you're clever with it. Whereas if you chain yourself to a car finance deal, it's painful. We see so many people writing dilemmas in about car finance.
Trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
And we see some really good wins when they get out of it, and they say like, never again. And I think it's definitely something that divides listeners. We're here for email in, message us your opinion if you've got a different perspective on it. Is it really good for you on tax? If you've got a business, are you overwhelmed with choosing a car? There's loads of different viewpoints. We know what we have done, and we know what a lot of people in the community have done. And that kind of qualitative feedback is, plus the quantitative data in terms of how much you can save and how much you could invest if you didn't, it's just a no-brainer. So don't do it.
You've got your answer. Okay, I've got a community win for the app. This is the best app. I managed to clear my debt in 2 months after trying to clear it for over a year, and I've just secured a mortgage.
Ooh, amazing. A big thing that we get a lot of people asking about, should I clear my debt before I save for a house? And people get overwhelmed by credit score and stuff. The biggest thing when we chat to mortgage advisors, who love it, by the way, when someone's used the financial app on the journey to saving their deposit, because it means their finances are so sharp.
Yeah, so
they know the stuff when they do that first meeting and you're collecting all the data. They're like, you're nailing it.
How much is your mortgage? It's not like going through the paperwork. They're like this.
They know.
They get the app out and they just go.
Yeah,
they know their full budget. They know what they can afford, and it makes such a difference to your affordability. So because you're not having these minimum payments going out, you've got excess room in the budget. And so you can possibly borrow more than someone that has debt. I know it's a bit, of a oxymoron given it's taking on more debt, but it's leveraged obviously on your house. But it puts you in such a good position. So people don't often like paying off debt while they're saving for a deposit because they'd rather put the money for the deposit because they want the house quicker. But sometimes paying off that debt, you go backwards a bit not go backwards, but you slow down a bit to then really accelerate.
Yeah.
Leap forward.
You could sprint.
I feel like we're building some type A home buyers.
Yeah.
They show up. I'm picturing like Elwood's folder app.
Yeah.
Honestly, that must be what it's like. Some people turn up and go, I want a house, and they've just not thought through what's needed. All they do is go to a mortgage calculator on Rightmove. We've all done it.
Yeah.
When you look at the mansion on the end of the street and it goes, do you want to see if you could afford it? And you go, I'll have a go.
I don't quite like that pool. You're like, we're always good at that.
Oh.
Slightly
Don't
too
really
small.
like that third ensuite.
Yeah, the 7-figure, issues that I have on our Rightmove is crazy. But yeah, that's amazing.
If you'd like to tell us your win, head to the community in the app or email it to thevault@financial.com. Time for our next dilemma. I've saved 27k in my LISA, but our house budget is too high to use it. Hi girls, I love the pod and have been an avid listener for a long time. I have a dilemma and it's a long one, so settle in and thank you in advance for your help. I'm looking for some advice as my partner and I are saving up for a deposit to hopefully buy our first property together next year. For context, we're 26 and 28 and have been renting together in London for a couple of years. We're planning to move further out when we buy, but house prices are really high in the area we want to live in, even for a smaller house that may need work. We're both high earners working in sales, so while our income can be inconsistent, we do earn commission and bonuses. This means we're able to save both in chunks and regularly. We don't have any debt apart from my partner's student loans, which he pays as normal. I've always been good with savings as it was drilled into me from a young age. Now that my income has increased significantly over the last few years, I've prioritised saving into my stocks and shares ISA to max the 20k limit, and I put any excess into my SIP. My question is, where is the best place to save my house deposit now this is our main goal? I currently have about 15k in a high yield savings account as well as a fully funded emergency fund. But as a higher earner, I'm taxed 45% on the interest, so I'm looking for the most cost-effective way to save that still gives me access to the money next year. I've looked at a cash ISA as I don't currently have one, but I'm nervous to stop contributing to my stocks and shares ISA since I'm investing for long-term gains. And I think the 20k allowance is shared between the two ISAs. Please let me know if I'm wrong. I also have a lifetime ISA, which I've been paying into for over 5 years. There's around 27k in there, but the houses we're looking at are above the 450k threshold, so it looks like I'll need to withdraw the money and take the 25% penalty. This would leave me with around 20k. I've paused my contributions to the LISA whilst I figure it out, and my partner is in the same boat. He had a Help to Buy ISA but already removed the money as 250k isn't realistic where we're buying. So here's what I'm unsure about. Do I take the LISA money out now so it can sit in a cash ISA instead? Should I keep it there and just put future savings into a normal high interest savings account, or is there any other way? Is there any other way that I can save up money in cash whilst keeping it accessible for next year? And do I just accept the high tax rate on interest? I know I'm speaking from a position of privilege with the numbers I've shared, and I really hope I don't come across as braggy. Money still feels really taboo, and I don't have many people I can talk to about this. Most of my friends are still renting and living at home. I've always saved and invested with long-term goals in mind, but now that we've got this exciting goal to buy a home, I'm struggling to know what's the smartest, most cost-effective way to do it. Our aim is to save as big a deposit as possible so we can keep our mortgage low. Thank you so much for your advice.
I think she deserves a round of applause.
I know.
Absolutely.
To be celebrated.
First world problem, still a problem.
Absolutely.
It's all relative, isn't it?
And sad that she can't share it with people. I imagine that must be really hard where she, they could turn around and say, what are you, what
you
are you
don't need to worry
complaining
about
for? Yeah, like I rent with my mum. I'm never going to get out of here and I can't save a deposit and it's impossible where we live and blah, blah, blah. Like, you're in a different lane and that's okay, and it's not something to feel bad about. And I'm glad that you've written into the vault, because hopefully we can thrash this out together.
Yeah, and for those people that are thinking about the license and why this person can't necessarily use it, they came out in 2017, and basically it's used either as a savings account where the government help top up, and you can use they top up and use it to help buy a house with a house deposit, or you can use it as like a bit of a retirement vehicle. So I think you access it at 60. And it came out in 2017, and there was a cap on the price of house at 450 grand. In some areas of the South, is not going to get you a one-bed flat. It's not going to, and if you want to buy a house with it, and this is like, your first opportunity to buy a house, and the houses that you're looking at are above that, then you can't use the lifetime ISA. And if you've been over saving into it because you think, you plan to use it as a deposit, that's your deposit. It's not for retirement. It's not for something else. And I was looking actually at this a couple of weeks ago, that I think that the house prices have increased that much since then, that really it's like a house worth 575. Like, they've not linked it to inflation, or they've not linked it to the house price increase index. So it's the equivalent 450 house would now be 575.
Wow.
And you can't buy it. So whilst it's a lot of money to lots of us and a high house price, it might not do the trick. And so that's the kind of dilemma that she's having. And the other element to this is you get a top up in the lifetime ISA, but the penalties on the whole pot. And so what it basically means is you could end up with less than you've actually put in.
Really?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
not just the
It's
like
not just the
interest.
It's not just the contribution from the government plus interest.
Wow.
It's 25% penalty on the whole pot, which ends up being some of what you put in.
I think that's so unfair.
Honestly, it's
tricky.
been a lot of people have campaigned against it, especially because a lot of people are having to. Well, firstly, you might have to withdraw it for financial distress.
Yeah.
Like, I suddenly need it. I need access to my money, and I think everyone's probably on board with, as long as I could just take out what I've put in, and I forego any contribution that goes back to the government, then fair play. But you can't.
Wow.
So she's left with, I've got 27 in there. That is a lot of money to contribute towards a house deposit. And at the moment, and I have not heard anything about it changing. I know that lots of people love it. Lots of people lobby the Chancellor on this in terms of increasing the cap.
I've heard that because of the house price increase. And it's for people that live in the South, it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, how am I meant? Especially when you're buying with someone, it's more realistic to be like, we probably would get a 450 grand house together, but the fact that you can't get one.
No, you can't. Exactly.
Yeah.
So and so it's not increased. They obviously set it, they chose that level, but they've chosen not to increase it. And the penalty. So, because one of your questions was, should I withdraw it yet and get it growing somewhere else? I don't know what I do in that scenario. There's part of me that, is it wishful thinking that they may change it, and you've got a couple of opportunities for the Chancellor to look at it because they're being actively lobbied on it. It would be a win for younger generation, first-time buyers, people in that space. And so given you're going to have to write, I wouldn't contribute any more to it on that basis that you think it's unlikely going to be able to use it. It's up to you whether you withdraw it early, because you never know. Like, if they change something in the next 12 months and you're not buying for another 12 months, you might suddenly be able to use it again. So just bear that in mind.
How much could you possibly gain by putting it somewhere else
For a
compared to sitting tight a little bit?
Yeah, it's not enough, because you're able to save quite a lot, and you've got a lot of savings. And so there's part of me that thinks I'd probably leave it, because sometimes over fiddling, and you are crystallizing that penalty, because when you take it out, you're definitely getting the penalty.
Yeah.
What if you might not get that penalty? So I think it's a little bit of a risk-based appetite to it, but I'd be tempted to leave it and just keep an eye on what's happening, and don't worry about the loss of gain, because typically you're not going to gain that much in a 12 to 18 month time frame anyway. So the next interesting thing is looking at her ISAs. And ISAs, you get a £20,000 limit at the moment. Again, something that it has been rumoured government would look at and maybe look at bringing down. I mean,
bring it down.
Yeah.
I was going to get excited.
No, going down. It's not been 20 for that long either, really. It was something that got put up, and it might be brought back down again, because then the government can get extra revenue income through the taxes on extra savings. So that's again something that we just don't know. But at the moment you get £20,000 and it's across all ISAs. So it's your lifetime ISA, stocks and shares ISA, and your cash ISA.
So and everything just has to add up to 20 and that's your max.
Exactly. And you can only have one type of ISA open at the same time, which is again another bit.
Really?
Yeah. So you could have like a cash one and a stocks and shares one, but you can't have two cash ones at the same time from the same year. Again, it's confusing because you could have 7 different cash ISAs, but you just had one a year.
Yeah.
So, but in one tax year, you get £20,000.
This is why the wealthy have people managing the money, because otherwise you'd be like,
where's it all
what
up
month
to?
did I open me? What month did I open that?
Just to clarify, that's how much you can put in, isn't it? It's
You
not the
can
total
contribute.
that's in the account.
No, because it can grow and you can roll over from previous years. So some people think I have to open a new ISA every year, and you don't.
Yeah.
You can stick with the same account and you get a new allowance every year. And that helps keep things simple rather than having it across different providers. Sometimes it can depend on the interest rates that you get in. So some people move the whole thing around to different providers, and it's all about the contribution. So that's correct. And so she's really wedded to the stocks and shares ISA, but she needs this money on a shorter time frame, some of the money. And so what she needs to decide is, between now and the date that I think I'm buying my house, how much money do I need to save and or hold? I really would think about leaving the 27 for now. And if you need that in the next year, industry-wide guidance is cash and get the best rate of return that you can get, because markets are so volatile, as we've talked about on this podcast so often, and it can go up as well as down. And when you get in large amounts, whilst you get some big wins, you get some big losses.
Yeah.
Like we've had some
Especially
great debate in the moment
Especially
with
what's been going on over the last few months, like when you've looked at your pension and investments,
chaotic.
it's like
chaotic. You've got not to spook anyone, but you've got people like Warren Buffett selling his position and keeping lots of money in cash, foreseeing certain things. We've seen lots of political disruption globally, not just in the States. There's so much that it doesn't mean that we pull money out of investments like he does. He's got a lot enough to play around with, but it's being aware that things could boom or things could bust. And that's just the way of the capital markets. And so if you're putting house deposits into stocks and shares ISAs and you need them in the next 1 to 2 years, it's still fine. I think there's a big rule about, oh no, you shouldn't. It's just be aware that that could go down. And it's all about your appetite to risk and how much you need that exact money. If it were me, every day I'm saving for a house deposit, it's cash ISA, because I know the rate of return. I know it's not going backwards. It's a bit of peace of mind. You can access to it. And that's another thing. Obviously, you making sure that you don't use fixed accounts where you think you might need it in the next 12 months, because sometimes you can't get it out. Sometimes there's
hard work.
we've been there. We've been there and we've tried. But so she has to fill that allowance per year in the right tax efficient accounts so that she doesn't get taxed on it. Thereafter, she's going to get taxed on interest. I think there's an interest thing on partners, making sure that her partner is optimizing his tax-free allowances. I wouldn't suggest her, if she's got more money than him, putting money in his name. Keep it in your name, both of you, just because that's
keep it clean, because you just never know.
Because sometimes you can try and nick returns from here and there, and actually, we've talked about this before, like it's 10 pence decisions and not 10 grand decisions, like keeping things clean and not being too worried about returns when compromising them for like sticky or messy situations. So then she just open, again, if it's all for the house deposit, get it into cash savings accounts.
Yeah.
So you can get some really good rates, and yes, you still get taxed, but you have to have a lot of money in them to actually get taxed. And you get taxed on the interest that you've made. You don't get taxed on the amount. So I sometimes tell people, play around with the interest rate and calculate the tax. Because even though no one wants to give 45%, of your earnings away, actually,
when you do the calculation,
it's not a
so
lot.
bad.
And so it's because you're saving it for a temporary period of time till you buy a house. So yeah, that's your flow. You go to your tax. When you're prioritizing your house deposit, let's go ISAs, let's go cash. If you're worried about risk, then let's go into general savings accounts, and massively optimizing those rates and watching for fixes so that it doesn't get locked away. And then the left field thing is more pension because she does put money into a SIP. And so if you can keep going with that, that obviously is massively tax efficient. And so this is about looking at what you need for your house deposit. And if you're okay, then actually, if you're really bothered about that 45% interest tax rate on your interest, you could just sweep everything that would go and get caught by that 45% rate and put it in your pension. Obviously, you can't use it for your house deposit, but it's as Holly said, this is why when you hit a certain earning level, a financial planner can really help you look at your short, medium and long-term goals and go, right, based on your tax rates and based on what you could do this. And they walk you through that. And,
it's like that comfort reassurance, like making sure, you don't want any nasty surprises. But I think you worry that a lot of people don't do anything because they go, I just get taxed on it. So I'm not,
so many
make
people
an assumption without looking
get
at the calculator, like Laura said, it might actually, on the grand scheme of things and your earning and how much you've got across the board, you might go, oh shit, I've made it into a beast that it's not, and I've missed out on all these other amazing things.
Yeah, interest calculator can work as in a couple of, calculate the interest that you would make on an account in a year and then put your tax rate through it, and it's not always a lot.
Yeah.
You have to have an awful lot in savings, especially because interest rates are coming down a little bit as well. So we're not seeing like the 4 or 5%, so we're seeing them lower. So
I love that she's paying into a SIP as well. I'm assuming you've already got a workplace pension because of the careers that you kind of hinted to at the beginning, and the fact that you get a lot of commission and bonus and they're like seen as a bonus.
Yeah.
I like the way that you're doing
and
it.
the exciting thing for her, because it sounds like she's in build in the playbook, so she sounds like she's debt free and obviously got emergency cash, and she's got, like I said, this left field issue with the lifetime ISA to navigate depending on the property that they buy. But once she's bought a property, the exciting thing then is she's in grow. And again, that's where you do a reset and you go, how much excess cash on a monthly basis across the year can I generate? And where do I want to put that? And you take into account your tax rate. And if it's quite high, then pensions is a good place to go. But actually, you've just got a big mortgage. You might be tempted to do some automating of overpayments of mortgage because that's a nice thing to get going. Or you might go all into the SIP because you want to put money into investments for pre-retirement. All these are so cool as options. They just depend on what you want. And actually sometimes, and I've done this in my position, you actually do all three.
Yeah.
But if you decide and then let it go, you're not constantly thinking, where does it need to be? I'm always doing things like optimizing interest rates on savings accounts. So that makes sense to do. But the other stuff, it's really nice to pick some amounts and kind of go, off you go.
Yeah.
Go make money for me.
And what about, she said about the kind of mindset shift between she's always been investing for long-term stuff and now she's going to have to stop that a little bit and focus on her goal for the next year. How does she deal with that?
It's a really good question. And I think for a year, again, this is about putting maths through it, and compound interest needs time to grow. And so for a lot of people that are really good at investing, the idea that they stop for a year is really hard. This might happen again for maternity leave. We hope it doesn't, because we hope that you can continue to invest during that and that you and your partner can work on that. But sometimes we have pauses, and as long as they're temporary, that's fine. I think she's also making this effort to get into the real estate market. Mm-hmm. So if she doesn't do this year, she then is not diversified, and all her investments are in typically equities, which is one market of itself. And so I think she should see it as a bit of patience to enter a different asset market, which is property, and she's then going to have a double horse race. 3-horse race if you think cash. She's going to have assets in both areas. So a lot of people panic about, if I stop my investing, what will happen down the line, and it's not linear. We have,
and it could be that the contributions aren't as big as they are. You could keep up small if you want to ensure that you're still getting compound interest and feel like you've keeping that muscle going.
Yeah,
you could make small contributions. You might not say, well, I'm going to stop it completely. I don't think
that's all. This is all driven by the house deposit she needs. You're totally right. And so this is where we always say as well, you can have anything, but you can't have everything. So what's the size of house you're buying? How much deposit do you need? She's torn between wanting a really big deposit so that it reduces the mortgage that she needs, and it might get her a better rate. But then she's conflicted by this long-term investing thing. I think if it were me, I would make sure I'm doing my regular pension investing through employment, if that's what she does. And I say focus on one thing, and I'll go ham on that deposit. And because there's a time frame, this isn't pausing this extra investing for a long time.
It's like broad as long as she wants like this big juicy deposit so that her mortgage
So she
payments
saves
go
here.
down. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
She's
she's going
worried about
down.
losing
yeah,
out
and I'm
over
like,
here.
you can't have both. It's like double bubble. Like
Yeah.
that's what you're trying to do, and
Yeah.
you're feeling bad. Like you can't do everything, or you can, but you do it on a smaller scale. So you make the decision. Like what sits more comfortably with you. But very impressive. Love
Yeah,
the
I'm
dilemma.
excited.
Like
Send us some right move links.
We
please.
need a follow up when you decide what to do. And then we need a follow up if the law changes. And then we need a follow up with the house pitches.
I just think it's really nice to have an aspirational dilemma. Like our community is so diverse. There's people that are struggling with paying anything, like
that's so true.
drowning in consumer debt. Like it is possible to get to this place. Like it's not a million miles where you are moving in circles with people like this. And if we can talk more in the community about these types of dilemmas, it just lets people see that this is possible. And it's a thing for females to talk about. ISAs, cash ISAs, investments, mortgages.
Yeah,
like it's very
that's so
aspirational.
true.
And I'm really glad that you picked this dilemma.
One day you're writing in saying, I'm addicted to buy now, pay later. The next year you're saying, I've got all this money. How shall I be making the most of it?
Yeah.
That is a genuine path. It's not a leap.
No.
It's like, no.
You've got to do the work.
You got to do the work, but that is a genuine dilemma. And like you said, for lots of people, they can't comprehend maxing out a 20,000 ISA allowance. Yes, you can.
Yeah, you're moving in the same circles as these people. We're all in this together. It's good. Good one.
Love it. That's all for this episode. The Vault is now closed. And just a quick disclaimer, The Vault is just a chat around life and money topics. We're not giving financial advice.